As time goes on, I keep asking myself more and more this question. Why are most people still consider themselves capitalist or even cheerleaders for capitalism, even though it's let us down for so many times and needs to be bailed out every 5 years or so, and it seems to be even more so with this coronavirus situation. So I decided to ask around on in real life and online. Hey, why do you consider yourself a capitalist? I mean, I wasn't really looking for a debate. I just wanted to get the general consensus. I mean, I have my suspicions, um, but some people said freedom this, freedom that. Others say, well, it seems to be it's got problems, but it seems to be the only system that seems to has any sort of workability or ability to work. Just things like, and then there's this one that says, oh well, because it can crush socialism in other countries. Like it's kind of fashy. The mentality of might makes right. It doesn't matter how right you are, but if I'm stronger than you, I can kick your ass, and it doesn't matter. It's whoever's strongest wins. Real Darwinian and real fashy. Um, it's a whole litany of things, but I suspect when it comes down to it, the main reason most people see themselves as capitalist, even though they may not truly understand what it means to be a capitalist or have a capitalist system or capitalism and all that, you and I understand it probably, or you understand it probably as the private ownership and control of the means of production, how services get rendered, how products get made, and it's controlled by private capital, the ownership class, the class that has the money. So I think if a lot of people understood that capitalism was that, they'd understand like, oh, so the system we have is just in the hands of a very few economic elite, and it's true. Of course, some might say, well, it's kind of unfair, but it doesn't matter. It's true. So if people were to understand that, it's a system that tends to want to benefit those at the very economic top. And I'm not necessarily talking about like the mom and pop shop pizza place or whatever. They own maybe one or two locations. I mean, they're just more technically they're capitalist, but I see them more as petty bourgeoisie than anything else. What I mean by capitalist, the actual economic elite of capitalism is those like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. Elon Musk says he's a socialist. Oh yeah. Then go ahead and make your company a co-determinant or even a cooperative. He ain't gonna do it. He wants to build his rockets so they can blow up on a test pad every other day. I'm kidding. I'm just giving him shit because he's wanting to reopen the economy, right now just so he can build his rockets. Like, dude, let's let this coronavirus shit blow over. Then we can get back to building your fucking rockets so you can go to Uranus. I don't know. He just tried to play with some more of his toys. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But anyway, that's for a different video. So I think a lot of people, when it comes down to it, they fancy themselves capitalist or capitalistic, is because they think that in order to make money, you got to be capitalist, right? Because a lot of people have a misunderstanding what capitalism is. Capitalism isn't just about money in the economy or making money. Capitalism is a system of who owns and controls that means of production. If people would really understand that, well, you can be an entrepreneur in a more socialist system or even a true socialist system. Like, let's say if the United States or any country was truly socialist, you couldn't have any private business and all had to be worker co-ops, that sort of thing, or government-owned industry. I mean, government, at least at the state level, owns the water industry or the water company, and it's ran by the state. And it seems to be working pretty well. So things like that. And you can still be an entrepreneur. See, the moment you become a capitalist is when you start hiring employees and you start to, profit off of their excess labor, or at least you take some of the surplus labor value and that goes back into your pocket and then just get a certain amount per hour. And hopefully you pray that the market doesn't get to the position where you got to pay them a whole lot because you're trying to make money. Shit. So you can be an entrepreneur, like a single owner operator of a business, like say for lawn care. You can just, put out some advertising, say you cut lawns, and you start getting calls, and then you take your mower and your trimmer, you go out and start cutting lawns, and you're doing the labor, and you own the business, and you don't have any employees. So at that moment, you're an entrepreneur. But the moment you become a capitalist is when you hire employees, and to basically skim off of their surplus labor. But if people would understand capitalism along them lines a lot better, I think they'd be a lot more willing to seriously look at other systems, like Germany. Right? I said co-determinants earlier. Germany has co-determinants, and it's working out very well for Germany. Germany. I got to stop talking so fast. But it's just, if people would just look at what they're doing. If a company has more than, say, 2,000 employees, then they have to have a third of their directors board with worker appointed representatives voted in by the workers to how they'll have some say, to where the owners have some say and the workers have some say, and the businesses turn out to be more stable, more robust. And because of that, the employees that do work there feel like they're not going to be thrown away at the slightest economic downturn like a used fucking nut rag. And if they're in Germany, if they're above 5,000 employees or more, it's just half of the board has to be. I believe it is half of the board has to be worker appointed representatives elected to the board. Half of them have to be. But if people don't understand, like, we can get to things that are a good deal better than what we're doing now, and they can still make money, I think they'd be a lot more open to the ideas of going down different economic routes or systems. I think that's what it is too. That's what a lot of that comes down to. They just want to feel that they can make money. They want to be free to make money. Sure, under a socialist system, you can do that. And of course, the system I want to do, or I would want us to move towards, I don't want to be in some authoritarian type of situation. I think down in the end would stifle, a whole lot of things. So try to keep things as open as possible, but at the same time recognize that employees need more protections, more say in the workplace, because they don't virtually have none now, unless they're part of a union. But even then, unions can only go so far. Unions are just an outside apparatus to, protect the rank and file from getting steamrolled by management. But the management pretty much has all the say in the company. They can't just do whatever they want necessarily willy-nilly to their union employees. That's about as far as it can go. Co-determinants would definitely be a step above that. Then a step above that would be cooperatives. I'm all about getting the power out of the hands of a few economic elite, those who I consider the economic aristocracy, which is, if you're against authoritarianism, why allow that sort of authoritarianism, especially when those companies get so big like Amazon, Walmart? It's like, why let them have so few people at the very tippy top have so much fucking power over the rest of their rank and file? Because what a lot of times happens. A lot of these companies, they have some jackass at the top, some CEO, they fuck something up. They sure, they get fired, but they leave with a big old not retirement, but a platinum parachute. And guess what happens? That company probably has to lay off a good chunk of its workforce, and the people at the bottom, the employees who they did nothing wrong. They did what they were supposed to. They came to work, clocked in, did their job, clocked out, and went home. They did what they're supposed to do. And they're the ones at the bottom who pay the price. And these same assholes, these CEOs, these jokers at the top, who want to try to push politicians to get rid of social safety nets because they just don't like them. Because social safety nets make people less desperate. And then if you have a workforce that is really desperate, you ain't got to pay them that much. And that is the name of the game with these capitalists who hold so much control, power, and sway over our economic lives and over, in the United States at least, the fucking government. How much fucking, influence they have in the government? Shit. It's unreal. I mean, so if you're listening to this, if you're against authoritarianism, why be for economic authoritarianism? Because maybe one day you have an illusion of being the one that's who's on the very, very top, or the next Jeff Bezos, or Elon Muskie, whatever. I mean, is that really what you want to do with all these, like, with this fucking picture behind me? But anywho, that's just my thoughts on it. I think that's really what the core of it is. People just assume that if you want to make money, you got to be a capitalist. And if you're a socialist, oh, you just want to take from the government or some shit, or you just want to take off from the social programs. You don't want to give nothing back in. I think that's what a lot of people have, the general misunderstanding. If they understood that socialism, at least economically, is about the workers owning and controlling the means of production, or what services get rendered, I think they'd be a lot more open to it. It's all about us getting the message out to them. Do a little call to action. Try to, talk to those who'll listen, because you'll get some jokers. No, I don't want to hear. I mean, just let them simmer for a while. Let their situation change to where they'll be much more in a listening mood. Then you can start planting them seeds. So that's what it's about for me. I try to plant seeds wherever I can. And I'm not the most eloquent speaker, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see y'all around.